I got a call about a month ago. He told me he had finally made the decision and that he would retire. I couldn't believe it. This news is like hearing that your favorite baseball player, or favorite football player, was going to retire. That home run hitter that you grew up with was hanging up his hat and bat. That's how I felt about hearing that my dad was going to retire. And this is why we're all here today, to honor David Fowler on his retirement after 47 years of working full-time. Dad was the youngest of 9 children. He was much younger than his older sisters and brothers. Matter of fact, his mom was 43 when she had him, and that's unheard of at that time. They were grown and gone, so it was him and his mom. His dad died when he was a few years old. He helped support his mom as soon as he could. He started cutting grass in the neighborhood around 12 or 13 to help make ends meet. After high school, he started working on the pipelines. He traveled all over the United States, mostly in the Southwest, and that's where he learned to be a welder. After doing that for a few years, he decided to settle down and stay in one spot, and he got a job as a welder at a sawmill equipment manufacturer in Talladega, Alabama. He worked there for about 15 years until the company closed that plant down. Finally, he got a job as a civilian at the Anniston Army Depot, where he worked for the last 26 years overhauling Army tanks. He's actually traveled all over the United States working at different Army bases as well, overhauling the equipment there instead of them having to send it down to Anniston. My dad raised me and my siblings to be self-sufficient. He always taught us that work came first over play, and that if something was worth doing, it was worth doing right the first time. Sometimes I felt like Cinderella growing up because I was always having to do work around the house. Growing up with Dad made it easy to get a job in the real world because you already had those a good work ethic and you knew what hard work was. So a real job was easy. The hardest day I've ever worked in the military hasn't come close to the hardest day I've worked for that man. When you're young, you don't see it, but the way he raised me has made me a better person. And I find myself acting just like him and valuing the same things he does. Dad always provided for his family, and he always put us first over his wants and wishes. I appreciate the fact that I was raised to be independent and to know the value of putting others before yourself. He's a pillar in the community as well. When people need something done, they call him. He can probably fix anything. And he does all this without complaining either, because it's the right thing to do. Well, Dad, you can finally stop and smell the roses, and I hope you enjoy them. 47 years was a long time to be dedicated to work to provide for your family. Dad's one of the hardest working people I know, and I put him up against anybody. He's taught me how to be a man and set me up for success in the real world, and I can't thank him enough for it. They say that everybody is replaceable, but I know for a fact that's not true, especially in this case here. The Anniston Army Depot lost a home run hitter and a workhorse when my dad retired. So without further ado, Dad, come on up.